Hey guys, Wig Merchant Gaming here, and today I'm reviewing The Witch and the Hundred Knight for PlayStation 3. Now, this game's about this little guy here. He is named the Hundred Knight, and he's been brought to life by the Swamp Witch, the witch who owns this swamp. Now, your task is basically to defeat her rival, who is the Forest Witch, and that's pretty much the aim of the game here, really. It's an RPG slash action RPG, just with slightly deeper elements. Now, as you can see, you do have a world map, and my question mark is over here. The question mark is your current quest, and from doing your current quest, you will level up, gain more abilities, and eventually unlock a few characters as well, a few extra skins ready for the 100 Knights. So nothing overly major, but to be honest, this game is it's a nice action RPG. It's just not a great action RPG. There's a lot of problems with it. For example, it's top down. You know, the camera's very limited, and at times this can pose a problem, especially when you're stood here and the camera's there. For example, you know, you end up having to move the camera around constantly to try and find the precise spot. You know, this is only really a problem a handful of times, but as you can see, it does become quite a problem. Now, other than that, the combat I have no problem with. The combat is absolutely awesome. I really do enjoy the combat system, but it's just a shame that it's not a true open world RPG. There's, like I say, a few problems here and there with this game. The main one being in the top left, you'll see there's a 96, and that will count down to 0. And once that's counted down, you'll then have no time left, and you'll be left with you'll be teleported back to the witch's swamp, and all your items that you've collected will be completely taken from you. So that's one problem I have with this game. The second one is, as you can see on this dude here, there's some slightly blurry textures on the enemies, which is kind of annoying. Seems everything else looks pretty crisp and nice. You'd thought they'd have added it to the enemy NPCs as well. And basically your task is to go and, as I say, defeat the Forest Witch. But essentially you have to go and take these pillars, which are plants, and once you've hit them a few times, you will end up being able to make them bloom, which is what's happened now. And through these plants you can teleport from place to place. So they just act as a fast travel mechanism, and you do need to make them bloom in order to progress through certain story parts. But like I say, the game is an action RPG with deep RPG elements. There is a tutorial at the start of this game, but the tutorial is very, very vague, and it'll only show you certain aspects of the game. It won't show you every aspect. For example, if I press start now, as you'd expect, it comes up with a huge menu. Now, it doesn't tell you much about the stomach. It doesn't tell you much at all about the stomach. It doesn't tell you about the bonus list. It tells you about the map, and it tells you about the items and how to equip. But it doesn't tell you anything else. Other than that, as I say, the introduction and what's supposed to be the tutorial mode is very, very vague, and it's disappointing. However, the maps are fairly large. Once you go from area to area, the maps are fairly large and offer plenty of enemies for you to cap off and kill, and you'll get various bonus points from doing so. There's a few things I do like about this game. The art style, I think, is pretty nice. I like the art style. The other thing is the fact that you can equip up to 5 weapons at once, and as you can see, once you attack, they'll come out simultaneously. So I attack, my hammer is in the first slot, and my spear is in the second, hence why it does that. And yeah, once you've got 5, you can initiate some pretty sweet combos. Now, once you finish the game, you can go back and redo these parts, because these are actually classed as stages. As I say, it's not true open world, and they are timed, as you can see on the top left. But once you finish the game, you can go back and redo these stages to look for chests and stuff like that, which is okay, you know, it's cool. But again, it's just disappointing. I would have liked to have been a bit more open with that. They've done a great job with the combat. I like the combat, but just the rest of it doesn't seem to fall too well. There's another problem as well that I've come across. Now, it may not affect you, and it may not offend you, but for me personally, I just wish that they'd have been a bit more thoughtful. You know, they hadn't actually put so much abusive or not to correct, for a more correcter word, Jesus Christ, I can't even speak. For a more correct word, and they've actually put a lot of what I would call slightly offensive material at times into the game. Now, not offensive as in crude or dirty jokes, just offensive in the fact that every single sentence that you were with the Swamp Witch, she actually has to swear. Now, that's not a problem for most gamers, and you know, I don't mind swearing, but once it's every single sentence of the text dialogue, it just becomes an annoyance. It doesn't become something that's fluid and nice, because you're constantly just reading or hearing the word bitch or fucking, and some of the words it blurs out, but some of them it doesn't. It's just, if you're going to blur them out, why have them there? And if you're not going to blur them out, well, why are they there in the first place? I can understand a couple of times being said, don't get me wrong, but once you hear every sentence, it does get on your nerves, and it does grind on you. Other than that, as I say, this game is pretty self-explanatory, to the point where, you know, if you've played many action RPGs before, you'll know where you're going with this. It's just a shame that the world isn't truly open, and the game isn't as open as it looks. And as I say, it has a few problems. The tutorial stage doesn't teach you anything, and the camera issues are also a problem. But this game from me gets a 5.7 out of 10. It's mediocre. As always, I hope you enjoyed the review, guys, and check down below for the written review. That will be in the description. And also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you can't bother to scroll down to subscribe beneath the video, wait till the end of the video, and you can subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. Alright, this is Wing Merchant Gaming, and I shall see you next time. Check out my other vids, guys, as always, because it really helps me out. And I hope to see you soon with a new review. See you next time. Cheers.